Welcome to It's happened. We thought it wouldn't. We thought they'd hold out, but it finally happened. Xbox has let us down.
How? Did they cancel the One S, Series S? Did they
But
make
they didn't
Candy
do
Crush a default game on all Xbox platforms?
They already did that with Windows, didn't they?
They actually did that.
So, no, Microsoft has announced that their first-party titles
Halo, Forza.
are going to get the price hike from $60 a game to $70 a game. When Sony made their switch, they said, okay, PS5 games, $70.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
And Xbox said, no, we're not going to do that. That was a great move. However, inflation comes for us all, which sucks because no one wants to spend $70 for a game. So here we are. Like we're seeing everything go up. We're seeing everything increase. We've seen consoles increase.
This change will take effect starting next year.
Yes.
Going forward, you should expect to pay $70 for new first-party Xbox games. And I'm assuming that's also going to be on non-Xboxes, right? So if you want to play Forza on, say, Steam, they will probably jump the price up to $70 there as well. Now, there are a couple of things to talk about here. First and foremost is the most obvious, buy Game Pass. Look, I think that's what they're doing here. They want you to just sign up for Game Pass because Game Pass, as far as I know, not getting a price hike.
It will be. Phil Spencer has said that it will happen eventually.
Well, of course. I mean, everything goes up in price.
Right.
You can expect price hikes on gas, on food, on other important staples like your Netflix subscription.
Why is life so expensive?
Obviously, Microsoft have an incentive here to sell more Game Pass subscription. Fair enough.
And I'm fine with this. We've been talking about how Game Pass is the better value proposition. If you're on Xbox as your platform, 9 out of 10 players should just be on Game Pass.
Well, especially if you consider you buy two $70 games in a year. That's covered your entire year of Game Pass, right? Am I doing my math?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It depends. Like if you have to buy like the year up front, like it's $15 a month if you go month to month.
Sure.
But even then, it's 2.5 games. If you're one of the weird creatures that only plays Call of Duty and Madden, then you
wait. Did you say weird creatures when you described 50 to 60% of all gamers?
The keyword there is only play Madden.
Bro, I bet you most people who have a console play 1 to 3 games per year. You're gonna play Call of Duty. You're gonna play Madden. You're gonna play
I am the
FIFA.
casualist of gamer, and I go through about 20.
Bloons.
I play like the first 3 levels of a game. I go, oh, this is too hard for me, and then I never play it again, which is what happened with Elden Ring. Obviously, every Sony fanboy is gonna be like, $70. What games are they charging on? They don't have any games. They don't have a single game on that platform.
That's not what Sony people sound like, but okay.
What does your Sony fanboy voice sound like?
Boy, oh boy, I love PlayStations. PlayStations are the best. But I do think there's one thing to talk about here.
Yeah.
Which obviously inflation is a thing, right? And lots of things are going up in price. But think about the historical pricing of games. When I was but a wee lad wanting to buy a Game Boy game, they were about $30. $30 was standard. And I would say like PlayStation, like N64 games, I feel like PlayStation games are usually about $40, right? Like that kind of felt like where things roughly were. I remember 40, you started hitting like 50, I feel like in like the PS2 generation. And then ever since the Xbox 360 and PS3, $60 has pretty much been the standard for 3 whole generations. While Matt might have the fancy calculations on what the inflation is, I'm pretty sure the $60 game in 2005 is a whole lot more than $70 in 2023 money.
So I had Kinsey go and look for all these inflated prices.
Can we do a little game here? I literally don't want to look at that.
All right.
Hit me with prices and I'll try to tell you what they were.
I only have a couple of them.
Okay,
so
hit me with it. Let me see if I can guess the inflation-adjusted price in today's dollars.
So an NES game in 1985.
How much was it in $85?
$45.
Ooh, okay, so 1985, there's a lot of inflation in the 80s. I'm going to say $100.
It's $177.
People paying $177 for Duck Hunt? What?
It came with a gun.
Look, no wonder that the video game industry was not doing good in the 80s. You wonder why companies like Atari printed millions of copies. They're making bank! They can afford to put half their inventory in a landfill. They just made $13 trillion in today's money selling you ET.
Average N64 and PlayStation game, just average.
Oh, together.
There was some discrepancies.
Yeah,
but the average was $49.99 in 1995, 1996.
Okay, I'm gonna restate $100.
closer. It was $94.95.
We were paying $94 for PlayStation 1 games.
Yeah.
United States Freedom Unit don't go as far as it used to. Back in my day, $40 would buy a whole PlayStation game. Now you get 3 Fortnite skins and an Apex Legend.
Average Xbox game.
So Xbox / PS2 era, like
2001 we have on
2001.
here.
Okay. The games were $50 new?
$49.99.
75.
$84.17.
More
And then
reasonable.
we have the average Xbox 360 game.
2005?
2005.
$60.
$60. $59.99 if we're getting. Yeah.
Okay. $60 in 2005 was $80.
$91.54.
So basically, we've been paying $60 since 2005 for games.
Yeah.
But inflation adjusted, that used to be $91, and it's basically gotten progressively cheaper because every year inflation goes up and the price of games doesn't change.
People don't feel that, you know?
No, of
like
course.
it's one of those things.
How
Like
much was gas in 2005?
Right, yeah,
Think
like,
about that.
We feel gas inflation. We feel.
Wait. Can you? Matt, I need you to do that one more time. Inflation on gasoline prices. Go ahead, hit me.
You feel the prices of inflated gas.
Yep.
I said again.
How about the price of vino? Is that
Games is a little different because, you know, like, oh, if they go up like $10, it's like, oh man, we went up $10, but like, you don't feel it as much. You don't feel that like that creeping like spending power.
Well, I think part of the reason is the prices stayed the same for so long,
Yeah.
right? Like you kind of got used to it. Now, if you think about it from the perspective of what's happened in gaming over the last, 15 years, DLC has become a massive part of it. In 2005, DLC didn't really exist, which is
Like
why
a little bit, like, you know,
Well,
a couple
no,
maps
I mean,
or like.
that was the very beginnings
Yeah.
of that, right? And you think, okay, $90 would fund a very expensive game. So what's happened since then is games have gotten wildly more expensive to develop, right? You know, the teams are bigger, the tools
Yeah.
are like, it's just so much more expensive. Especially when you look at games like Elden Ring, which is like what, 17 years and $400 trillion or whatever.
I was
It's very
like,
expensive, right?
GTA 6 was billion dollar to develop.
There's no way
like,
they said how much they've spent on GTA 6. Really?
GTA 6 is reportedly having a $2 billion budget.
Boy, they need.
Here's the thing. This is a side note. This has nothing to do with game monetization. They don't need to make a game for $2 billion.
Okay.
I would pay $60 to see $2 billion. They could just have a room set up. And I would pay money to see that much money.
So games are costing more and more to develop all the time. Only, in my opinion, the only reason why we've only been paying $60 for games for so long is because things like DLC, things like deluxe editions, things that will give you added value have come onto the scene, which has really kind of helped.
Like,
because if
all
you're
the microtransactions,
100%.
everything like that, which everyone hates, by the way. Like,
you know, you say that. I bet. Look, else everyone, just come close. Let's all be honest with ourselves. Have you ever spent $90, $100 on a game you really like? Just think about it. Between maybe buying FIFA packs, maybe buying additional cars in Gran Turismo, maybe playing balloons for way too many hours and buying too many balloon coins or whatever.
How do I get all my heroes?
We all have spent that kind of money, but there's a difference because nowadays it's sort of split between free-to-play games, which have lots and lots of microtransactions, and $60 and $70 games, which have lots of microtransactions, but maybe will actually give you like, you know, DLC, maps, like other like actual tangible things for that cash. But most people, if it's a game you really like, are probably spending more than $60 anyway.
One of the problems is we could say, oh yeah, well this has been so cheap for, you know, years of it's been $60 for games.
Yeah.
It's not like they'd be like, okay, you know what? We're charging an extra $10, you know, for this game.
Yeah.
Because of that, we're gonna cut off these microtransactions. That's not happening.
In the context of things, going from $60 to $70 isn't that bad is sort of my thought on it. When you consider, again, the quality of games
Right.
and the fact that if you really like the game, you're probably going to spend a little bit of extra money on it anyway. And also Game Pass
You know what I
exists.
think though is
Kind of
egregious?
Okay, yeah, hit me.
Is some of the collector's editions that we're selling, because it used to be you buy a collector's edition and it'd be like, oh, here's this merchandise.
Art books.
That-
steel
Yeah,
books.
that merchandise might be moldy and filled with spores. You can see what I'm talking about right here. But you got something tangible. Now we're getting all these like super editions that are like crazy more money, and it's just all in game.
Wait, are you trying to say that me buying the super deluxe version of Gran Turismo to get millions of dollars of in-game credit and some extra cars was a bad idea? I would never, ever
pay to win. I mean, pay to have more money.
So-
he's got NBA 2K23 up here.
Yeah.
So PS4 is $60, PS5 is $70.
Which is, here's the thing. This is what like NBA 2K kind of rubs people the wrong way a little bit too, because it is 2 separate editions. I get it, if you have a PS4, you want to spend less money, but if you buy the PS4 version and then get a PS5 version, like PS5 later, you're still playing the PS4
I would say
version.
Sony feels like the PlayStation side seems worse.
If you want to have both versions in one purchase, you have to buy the digital deluxe edition, which comes with both versions.
Yeah.
But then you can also get for
There's more?
$100 the Jordan edition,
Oh yeah, I'll do
which
that.
means nothing because
What? I'm gonna get Michael Jordan in my game, right?
you get 100 VC and 23 team promo packs.
That's a lot of
So
packs.
booster box. Oh, you do get the Diamond Jordan shoe.
This is a great point. We also totally forgot. These are all the same prices for digital and physical games.
Yeah.
And obviously everything's going digital. So they also have saved money by not actually
Yep.
having to create, obviously
We've
you
been
used to have
talking
to
about
make-
that for years.
I know they've been trying to
Yeah.
like move on from, you had cartridges, then you had discs, then like the disc comes in like literally the most generic little plastic box that has no anything. Now it's not even the disc, you're still paying the same amount.
Coming back around, the value proposition for the Xbox game is still just pushing towards Game Pass.
Of
and
course, yeah.
like again, it just makes Game Pass look that much more appealing. And when we think about all the things we're getting with Game Pass, you're getting your Xbox Live Gold, you're getting cloud gaming if you want it. That's not a whatever. It's, if you want it,
There's lots of
if you
stuff
want
that's
it.
included if you
Yeah.
get is PC Game Pass, Ultimate.
Like all the first party
Yeah.
games that they're doing are day one
Yes.
available on Game Pass.
Yeah. So can I be honest with you about my current generation gaming habits? So between Xbox and PlayStation, I own no physical games for my PS5. Like I've
I
not
also
purchased a single physical
The
PS5
only
disc.
physical game that I own
Yep.
at the moment
Yep.
is Spider-Man for PS4.
Yeah.
Because I bought the limited
Pro.
edition and it came with it.
I own a fair few digital copies of PS5 games. I own 0 first-party Microsoft games because I have them all on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I have not purchased any of them whatsoever in like 5 years, 6 years. I'm fully on that Game Pass train because it's like, even if I'm only gonna play a couple games a year, it's already worth it, right? So to me, it's like, I get it. It's more expensive. That's never a good thing. But when you consider the historical sort of context here of how much cheaper games are today, even at $70 than they were in 2005, 2006, when we were purchasing them for $60 each, which was like $90 in today's money. And you consider that you have the ability to download these easily with things like Game Pass, obviously PlayStation Plus, Ultra, 5K edition will give you some games for free and including your subscription. But like,
Now-
we've got it good today. I think it's worth just kind of keeping in mind. It's easy to complain. It's easy
Let's-
to be bloated, but it's pretty good.
Let's put a big old asterisk next to everything you just said.
What do you mean?
Because here's what we had. We have, like, we're talking about, like, we love Game Pass. We love it.
Full disclosure, we have been sponsored by Game Pass in the past, but that also doesn't change the fact that it's a good service.
Yeah, really good service. But you know what we also used to love?
what?
We used to love Netflix.
Oh.
Netflix used to be, oh, I can have whatever movie I want for a mere small month-to-month cost. I want to break down Netflix pricing in the past 11 years.
For context, I've been a subscriber of Netflix since like 2012 or something.
I've been a subscriber of streaming since day one.
2011 Netflix. Go.
$8 a month. That is the standard HD plan with
Yep.
2 screens.
Yep.
Now is $15.49.
So it's basically doubled the last
Doubled in
10 years.
price. Yeah. All this content that's on all these other streaming platforms is on
Netflix.
it was on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted The Office, Netflix. If you wanted Parks and Rec, Netflix. Now we have, in 2013, that's when they introduced the 4K premium one.
Mm-hmm. I remember I
which,
signed up
remember,
for that.
gives you no additional content. It's $20 a month. Oh,
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
I mean, I
so
do pay
like,
for it, though.
you know, like,
I like 4K.
I do too.
Would you watch This Is in HD?
You're doing it right now.
Make sure you're on 4K. Make sure you're on 4K. We're recording in 4K. Use 4K. You guys see every beard hair in Matt's face? You'll see it in crystal clear 4K for only $12.99 a month when you sign up for the This Is monthly subscription plan. You can watch our videos in 4K if you give us money, even though you can do it for free. But give us money!
The takeaway from this is what happens in, a few years when Game Pass starts creeping up and they say, okay, well, play your favorite games at 30 FPS for $15 a month, or you can pay $30 a month to play at 60 plus.
Matt, I might vomit.
So like, follow, subscribe. Let us know what you think about this. Is there any games coming for Xbox? You love to tell us that
Supposedly
one.
there'll be $70 next year if anything comes out. Woo!
Like, follow, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.